I love creating a big library of tokens for all of my D&D campaigns, but finding art for D&D has gotten a little harder in recent years, for some reason.
Hello, Crispy number 8. My name is Dr. Crispy number 2, and I... Another doctor come to fix me? Don't bother. Unless you cut out my eyes. You cannot erase what I have seen. Please, can't be that bad. Just tell me what you see. They're awful proportions. They're uncanny faces. They're unnaturally sized butts. They're what now? Yeah, don't even ask me about that one. Look, the point is, the AI is everywhere. I cannot escape it no matter how hard I try. Don't you think you're maybe, overreacting just a little? You're being a bit dramatic. Did you not see AI Godzilla showing off his ass cheeks? Or I really don't think I'm overreacting like at all. AI lets anyone create art, no matter how little skill they have. I mean, look at me. I created this lewd image of an underage anime schoolgirl with AI. Come on. I have no artistic skills, and no one wanted to draw it for some reason, so with the power of AI, I managed to do it my... Hey, Dr. Crispy, you got any... Alert, the doctor's down, Get the guard, put your hands up, put your hands down, turn around, start moving, move over there.
Look, if you use AI images in your D&D game, I can't stop you. But can you keep those images to your damn selves? It's getting impossible to look for good D&D art these days. And can you stop generating creepy crap? Oh my god! Long-time listener, first-time writer. If you enjoyed this one, I'll send more. Please do. First to set up, it was the late 2000s, early 2010s. A group of 5 to 8 of us, depending on the day, would meet weekly at a local pizza shop in a party room on Friday nights. Okay, for a second, I thought you were like playing in the middle of Little Caesars, and I was about to ask, how the hell? But alright, that's a little bit of a better situation. We would cycle between different games based on who wanted to do what. Usually a TTRPG, Hero Clicks, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Once in a while, we'd bring a console with us and play a new game, or play another card game. This group had a number of issues overall, but the core of the story involved 2 people specifically. A girl we'll call Sonia, a guy we'll call Chad. Sonia was introduced into our group fairly late into what would become the ending of friendships. Sonia was a kind woman who was brought into the group via an invitation by someone else. That person had a crush on her and wanted to get to know her better, turned creepy really quickly. Future story. Y'all gotta stop teasing me with these MCU post-credit scene crap. Come on! I'm pretty sure this is what being edged feels like. That's a sexual thing, isn't it? We played a few different TTRPG games, though few of them ever lasted more than a few sessions before interest was gone, and we'd move on to another game. This is where things got odd. Quickly. The first situation, we were playing D&D, a bit of a murder mystery game. I don't remember all the details, but the biggest issue was that we stumbled upon a village terrorized by an evil lord who sent out packs of direwolves. However, every attack after the first would deal more and more damage, something to mimic bleeding or building up poison. The person who found this out was Sonia. A single 1 hit point of damage and description from the GM, a guest for the night who would choose never to come back, told us how the wound reacted, that we needed to escape before anyone took too many hits. Chad, however, did not like that. He wanted to stay and fight, even though Sonia and the rest of the group were fleeing from the battle. None of us really understood at that moment what he was thinking, but he was adamant for revenge against this pack of wolves, solo, when we stood no chance as a group. Yeah, well, rest in peace, man. Guess he's gotta die. The DM tried to have the wolves escape via a horn in the distance to recall them, and leaping across a large rushing rapids river that Chad decided he would swim across to go after the wolves. A number of failed rolls later, and Chad was dead, despite the DM doing everything he could to give Chad an escape, including a conveniently fallen tree that was splashed so he could get to safety. Chad then got into a rather loud argument with the GM about how he could kill a brand new character in session 1, and he was bullying Sonia. Bro, he was trying to help you!
Hark, what is this I have found? A pit into the Underdark. I'm gonna jump down it. Whee! Oh wow, a trampoline. Wow, DM, I've been doing like all this stuff and I haven't even died once. I mean, it seems like I'm invincible. I don't know why people keep on talking about your games being hard. I mean, so far it's been pretty easy going. Yeah, I know. Yep, you're so good at the game. Really glad your character hasn't died yet in session 1. Oh, hey, is there a pit of lava nearby? I want to jump in. No, what the fuck?
There was a total of 1 attack roll by the wolves the entire night. Again, the GM decided not to return. Later, Chad wanted to run his own series of game attempts, ones that he continuously restarted after things didn't go his way, and by that, I mean Sonia. At first, it was a zombie apocalypse scenario using D20 Modern. We were all just us, with the setup being, you're in the back room of the pizza place. You only have on you what you have on you right now. Well, that's why I always carry a sword.
JDD, would be back. Still your joke.
Not a bad idea, since we were allowed anything in our cars, too. So some people had, like, jumper cables, others had tools, enough stuff for makeshift weapons. However, Chad had a DMPC who conveniently ended up alone with Sonia during these scenes. A room collapses and they were trapped together for hours while everyone was trying to get them out. There was only room in some vehicles that worked for the 2 of them, with everyone else mysteriously in another car, with Chad's car breaking down without anyone realizing, and yeah, you get the idea. Sonia wasn't biting for any of these things. It was obvious that Chad didn't like that she wasn't going for him. Though we were all getting the creep vibes, Sonia was able to deal with him on her own. However, this led to Chad not having any motivation for the game and wanting to do a different one instead. The second one had much of the same premise, however, he was really into heroes at the time, and that influenced the... Wait, like this heroes? Bro, I haven't thought about this in forever! My mom actually liked that show. This time, he had a DMPC that was from the future and time traveled back in order to change the future. This wasn't bad in itself. Obvious ripple effects would change things, so the DMPC didn't have perfect knowledge of what would happen, but had some ideas that we could follow. However, the DMPC kept staring at Sonia's character. When addressed, the answer was, "In the future, you died in my arms. We were together for years, married, lovers," etc. Sonia was silent for a moment and answered something along the lines of, "That's wonderful for that version of me, but I don't know you and I'm not lesbian." That's me when I'm trying to romance Pan Am and Cyberpunk. Bro, you seem so gay! What do you mean you don't like me? Actually, my boyfriend is standing right there, and she indicated one of the other players' characters, and the rest of us just went along with that being the premise. Chad, who wasn't going to give up, responded, "He's supposed to die in 3 days." He knows that's not gonna magically make her gay, right? Turn your daughter gay in this one simple step. Doctors hate it! With another series of events similar to the previous, this one fell apart too. The final game that kept Sonia from ever being willing to play a game with Chad again was yet another game, like the previous 2. This time, we all woke up completely naked. No money, no items, nothing. We were all trying not to laugh at this blatant attempt, including Sonia. We were all texting each other back and forth, like, what are we gonna do? We settled on humoring just to see how bad this got. Made it about 2 hours in game time, collected a few clues, the NPC hitting on Sonia was rejected, and then an explosion with a flash of light. When the light faded, we all woke up naked. And where we started, with only a few memories, and some new ones that Chad said was the new pass. This kept happening again and again, just after he got rejected. Hit load game, baby, you'll get there eventually. After 5 hours of playing, we made it to a total of about 3 rooms, 0 locked doors, and the clues amounted to turning on the TV and watching the news. As expected, we didn't play TTRPGs when Sonia was around if Chad was also around. After that last game, while we usually stay outside to talk and chat in the parking lot, Chad just left. We all had a long talk and didn't really know what to do about all of this. We didn't have to worry for long, as shortly after the group fell apart. From that original group, I'm only friends with one person. I lost contact with Sonia after some crazy manipulation by the person who originally invited her. We are on good terms, just lost contact because of time, and the others are horror stories in themselves. MCU post-credit scene is going particularly crazy with this one, and I'm sorry about your friend group, but these blatant attempts at flirtation are, well, rather funny, I have to say. I've seen the way some men flirt, just in my day-to-day life, like not even online, and I gotta say, this follows a pattern I've noticed, where men seem to fear the idea of rejection more than they actually fear being alone. Like, they take someone's acceptance of their flirting as validation for their existence, even though somebody just might not be into you. Flirting is a two-way street. Doesn't matter how hard you work, the other person might just not like you. And as an asexual person, I've had to let people down before, and I can only imagine how scary it is for a woman in a situation like this. I mean, you have no idea how the other guy's gonna react. I mean, God, here I am talking about flirting in general when I'm ignoring the blatant thing in front of me. Don't flirt through a TTRPG. It's probably not gonna work. To start, last year a group of friends and I thought it would be a lot of fun to try out Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TTRPG, together as a group. We all agreed on our DM, and he was completely on board with that, and we started our characters. In total, we had 7 players, 3 waterbenders, an earthbender, an airbender, a firebender, and a non-bender. The airbender being the problem player in this campaign. No! It's Zahir! The issues began in session 0. We were all introducing our characters when one of the waterbenders and the firebender mentioned that they were friends, that were into each other but didn't realize. The airbender did not like that. She would DM both me and another player complaining about the situation, and we would have to talk her down. Session 1 was fun, so I thought, hey, maybe she was just nervous in session 0, but oh, how wrong I was. Next session, she was butting everyone's character time and making sure she was in every scene. She also revealed that she was an airbender on the run from the Fire Nation. Honestly, the way the reveal happened wasn't that great, but we all tried our best to support her and cheer her on.
Alright, we are looking for cabbages for lunch, so... Wait, friend. Before we order these cabbages, there is something I must tell you. Yeah, sure, what's up? I am an airbender. Where's that music coming from? I'm on the run. Yeah, cool. Can we be like on the run to grab some cabbages? Is this just not working? Yeah, I'm just really hungry, and also even with the music, man, this is not giving.
She got mad that we didn't react the way that she wanted. She was angry that no one interacted with her when she made sure her character was there during everyone's turn. This kept happening session after session. She even admitted that she created a girlfriend the last minute for her character because she hated the firebender and waterbender's relationship, and she did not like that people were shipping my character, another waterbender, with an earthbender because she believed it overshadowed her and her character's story. Dude, is this girl putting like DPS charts on roleplay time?
A surprise?
Don't do that, man. She was especially upset and furious the firebender had an amazing reveal. He is a firebender pretending to be a non-bender. In comparison, when she revealed she was an earthbender, that kind of fell flat. Her character just lifted her bangs, hiding her airbender tattoos, and said, I'm an airbender. Me and the other person she was DMing were at our breaking point when she tried to cut into people's turns again, especially the non-bender player, giving everyone the excuse of it's just her being an airbender and then proceeding to try and butt in some more. Meanwhile, she was throwing a full-blown tantrum in the DMs because our DM... Okay, that's confusing. She was throwing a full-blown tantrum in the messages because our DM didn't pick her for something that had to do with the situation she was trying to shove her way into. We're going to complain, but our game went on hiatus due to life. We recently picked it up again and wanted to give her one more chance to see if she changed, but she did not. When it was the firebender and waterbender's turn to roleplay, she actually timed them.
I don't want to go back. Not just yet.
Alright, guys, wrap it up. Wrap it up. Time's up for you guys, alright? Your roleplay is done. There's no more room. Hey, Shadowheart, you missed!
She was just looking at the clock when they started and continued to stare and message until they finished. She then had a full-on rant about how the DM didn't give her the situation she wanted. She wanted to show how she's using her airbender ways to help innocent people and bring peace to a nation, and then decided to make the rest of the session all about her and how her character misses her girlfriend. After that, anytime anyone else did anything, she had to do the same thing, but try and do it better. At the end of the session, she actually sent DMs, "I didn't get enough screen time, it's not fair," after she spent over an hour keeping attention on herself. And yes, we timed her after she timed the other two players. I have recently told the DM everything, along with all the screenshots with the evidence, and let's just say him being very angry is an understatement. He apologized for not noticing her behavior before and not doing anything about her basically taking over the end of the first session. Now we're just waiting to see what happens. Look, as a guy who sometimes never shuts up, I understand what it's like to wait while someone else is role-playing a scene. It sucks sometimes, and there are absolutely times where people hog that spotlight too much. We talk about spotlight hogs all the time, come on guys. But, for the love of God, let people have something. A couple having their little moment, a player getting to talk with his mentor. Little scenes won't kill you, and also engaging in those scenes encourages those players to engage with you back when you have your little turn. Look, the plot lines that this airbender has seem kind of interesting. Even if her execution isn't that good, that's okay. You don't need to be a great role player in order to role play at all. You gotta start somewhere after all. But if she is actively refusing to engage with anyone else's RP, then why would they engage back with hers? That's what you gotta realize. The blade cuts both ways. The story actually happens to come from my very first experience with D&D. The group consists of myself and a small group of friends. Most of us were trying to play for the very first time, and the first few sessions started off alright, I guess. I was the DM. I was running a completely homebrew world because I was afraid of modules at the time, but not afraid of creating an entire world? I respect it. I was also working full-time and preparing for college, so yeah, neither here nor there. Anyway, we had session 0 that was pretty short because I didn't really know what I was doing. We agreed to go along with the story however it unfolded, and my players really enjoy roleplay. Also, I didn't mind PvP, but it couldn't involve anything serious, beyond a few cuts and bruises. One of my players was a drow bard who was very gay, and openly flirted with one of the NPCs he found at the tavern. Surprising everyone, he wasn't the problem player. Win for the game. He seduced an NPC who ended up coming along for the ride, but he was a coward, so all the players could get the glory. Unless the bard gave him a bolster of courage, he was inclined to run away more than anything else. Despite this, they became a romantic couple, and it was very tastefully played out, in my opinion. Several sessions in, one of my good IRL friends heard I was running a campaign and wanted to get involved. I agreed to let this individual play a different NPC character for a day to see if he liked it and wanted to go with the flow. This was a large, orcish sailor. Sailor's player loved the game as it was, and over the next few sessions, everything was good. They all seemed to mesh well together, and the story was coming super easily, and nothing bad could ever happen with my close, dear group of friends. Nothing, ever.
Oh yeah, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
One day, burnout began to strike. After a while of good playing, characters started to act out in different ways. There was a lot of goofing off because I was not really good at guiding the characters to story hooks. Players were beginning to get more antsy. I don't quite remember what led up to it, but Sailor began sneaking into Bard's room at the tavern one night while their party members were sleeping. He had gotten into his head that Bard owed him something, but I can't remember for the life of me what that was. He insisted that Bard either had to hand over what was his, or Sailor would take it from him. Bard declined, so Sailor declared he would pin Bard up against the wall. I hesitated, then nervously allowed a strength roll against Bard's dexterity to escape. Sailor won, pinning Bard up against the wall. I had already stopped our sessions a few times to talk about unnecessary, uncomfortable behavior up until this point, so I hoped it just wouldn't go that far. Bard tried to talk the sailor down. Sailor then decided the best course of action would be to remove Bard's pants, saying, "I rip his pants off." The whole group erupted. I called for a stop, but he was talking over me and Bard was freaking out with good reason. I felt so sick that I told everyone I would no longer DM because I had to go to college, I wouldn't have time to play. He claimed he wouldn't have actually... Dude, you shouldn't even be in the freaking ballpark. You should be on the opposite end of the universe from that ballpark. Look, he said he didn't want to assault the Bard, but I disagree. He'd laid hands on the character and removed clothing. If I had been a bit more experienced, I feel like I would have been able to avoid this. And that campaign has my guts rolling with guilt until this day. That wasn't the last campaign I played with him. I did give him another chance, but he ended up getting kicked after continuously missing sessions or falling asleep. We don't really talk anymore. That guilt is something that a lot of DMs feel, even if we don't have full-blown horror stories. We feel guilty about all sorts of things, even in session having little minor issues that the players never notice. This is a much bigger problem, but at the end of the day, you're not clairvoyant. You can't see the future and prevent problems before they happen. Yes, stuff like session zeros help, but they're not silver bullets to avoid all issues. From what you said, the sailor played the game decently well for a while. This was not a recurring thing. Sometimes people go over the deep end. It's especially jarring when you have a campaign that's going so well for so long. You seem to be having a lot of fun, even in romantic encounters. But here, we have an example where you didn't see any red flags, and that's gonna happen. Your guilt is only gonna hurt you more. It's not gonna build up better games. Well, I had always played D&D online, but I had just met a new friend who had D&D group, and luckily, they were about to start a campaign. Cool! Finally, a table! Innocent me thought, innocently. I received the concept of the adventure and all the characters the other players had already created. It was a party of 5, including me. We had a bunch of lonely, selfish characters in the party, whose build ideas would only be powerful only at higher levels. With this in mind, I made a mature Path of the Beast Barbarian Man, basically a 40-year-old hybrid of Mowgli and Tarzan. Since the adventurers were starting at level 4, I would be very powerful to help the others hold on to early levels. I also made my character a very family-oriented barbarian, raised by wolves, taking the party under his hairy arms in order to protect his pack of cubs, extremely tanky, caring, and the whole dad figure package. I love him. Not like that. He was a character to support the party, mechanically and emotionally. Well, I was very happy, but there was still one character to be created. We already had my barbarian, a warlock, a cleric, a paladin who was my friend, and his girlfriend still had to create one for herself. When looking at all our characters, she liked mine and decided to get into my idea of a dad for the group, which I loved at first. Her character ended up being a ranger raised near a forest that was only 15 years old. Yeah. An omen of what is to come.
No. Wait.
Days go by and our first session begins. First thing after the master tells us what is happening and leaves the tavern to interact with us, I instantly start drinking beer. Something tells me that's not what you meant. While the others were talking about some things they needed to do for their backstories, that left me vulnerable. The teen ranger, great name, sat at my table and started talking about my clothes, more specifically, the lack of them. I explained about my abilities, race, and offered some beer. My character did not know about her age or human laws about drinking age. She refused to drink and started explaining her backstory to me. She quickly started telling me that she was raised without knowing much of the world, but seemed like I was the man who knew a lot, so she expected that I could teach her about life while she could experiment on new things. Her phrasing sounded to me like something with hidden intent, and her flirtatious tone caught half the party by surprise. I felt a little ashamed due to her boyfriend being right there, so I tried to make a joke and dodge the conversation. Oh man, a teenager. I would have preferred a dragon. Bro,
Dude,
is not getting code today.
I got a
No
whiff.
allegation. We all laughed it off and took this as a misunderstanding. Later, I went out to take a bath in a nearby lake since my character was not used to bathrooms, the same lake that her character decided to swim in naked. And it would always repeatedly happen. She'd always be naked or half naked when alone with my character, always appear when my character was alone, and always be extremely flirtatious, trying to force a romance. At our 4th session, I was completely weirded out. It was just in-game, but she was flirting in front of her boyfriend, which was uncomfortable, and the obvious 40-year-old man, 15-year-old girl thing was completely destroying this for me. When I talked about her character, I thought it would be a cool stepdad and cool stepdaughter relationship, and not some, dude, I'm not reading that out loud, and you can't make me! And it was not the worst part yet. I was a shifter, wolf shifter, Path of the Beast, which meant I was basically a full-on werewolf. The master made me get stuck in my transformations in a session, which is a problem, since we're in a place where people were hunting werewolves due to some previous attacks. So my character began to sleep near town but not in it until he could lift this transformation. She came to bring me food and stayed, deciding to sleep in the forest. I knew this would be trouble, but I couldn't do much in the game. You could kill her. Okay, maybe you shouldn't follow the crispy solution to problems. So, as soon as I started sleeping, time skipping to the guys in the city without anything happening, I was happy with some normalcy. But she began to use her phone while the other guys roleplayed. After the guys talked, the dungeon master asked her for some rolls, and I didn't really think much about it since I did some rolls myself during a harsh weather during the night. When I woke up, DM told me that I woke up very dizzy, with her naked by my side, right before asking her to roll not to puke. She drugged me while I slept, and used my body to... I was completely disgusted with the situation. The session ended there. I never came back. We've seen some degenerate nonsense. We've seen Femcel nonsense. This, for some reason, just really ticks me off because, dang it, I love a good father-daughter relationship, but good God, not like this, man. Some people can kind of excuse bad behavior, especially in a D&D game, because you're not playing D&D all the time. You're playing D&D once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and there's a lot of time in between for the bad stuff to kind of fade out of your mind and become less bad. But if something is repeating over and over and over again, even within just 4 sessions, that's a sign. It is as bad as you remember. We sometimes invalidate ourselves because we don't want to stir the boat, but don't do that. If you see something bad, believe your instincts. It's probably bad, especially when it's this. My God. Honestly though, from a player perspective, there's not really much you can do if the DM's not on your side, which here doesn't seem like they were. In fact, the DM seems to be playing a support role in the nonsense, which honestly kind of makes me hate the DM more. But, well, at least he left the group. Hey, that's a wrap. If you guys enjoyed, then you might enjoy this previous episode of RPG Horror Stories where we talked about a DM who was disgusted by husband and wife romance. It's linked in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you want to leave your own stories or thoughts, you can go down in the comments down below. If you can't think of a comment, leave the comment age gap to let me know you made it to the end of the video. Hey, by the way, if you have your own stories, you can send them directly to us. There's an email down in the description down below. Send your stories our way for a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But hey, even if you don't have any stories, in essence, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.